university. I began my seminary training here, right here in this college. Every brick for me reminds me who I was and who I am today. Life itself is God's gift. I have not merited life. Can we forget my mother, my father? They also collaborated with God to give me the gift of life, but I cannot say I am the owner of that life. Which child will ever say, even an agnostic or an atheist, that I have got nothing to do with my parents? Much more for us believers, God's gift given to me. I have to nurture that gift. I have to make it grow. I have to make it flourish in every way that God intended. St. Paul tells us that only three things matter: faith, hope, and love. But of these three things that matter, two, faith and hope, will also vanish. But what will remain is love. You know, my father was a farmer, and so therefore my father had hard time to make both ends meet. I had to be with my father from 4 o'clock in the morning in the fields. I was deeply impressed later in high school by a priest. This priest, saintly man, a fisher folk, he was an example. You know, that priest had deeply, deeply strengthened my vocation. My priest was such a friend, but not at all alluring me. I think he was a clever man. He was a very spiritual man, and he felt calling is God's work. Calling is not man's work. God calls. We have to prepare people for God's call to be heard by that young person. Sometimes we interfere too much, and so it is like my parents' wish, or my granny's wish, or my parish priest's wish, or my principal's wish, but I want you to become a priest. You know, not me to become a priest. I am already a priest. You know, this we forget. We should not interfere too much. What we have to do, work day and night as priests, as bishop for me, is to prepare that this young man will hear God's voice. Because it is God who speaks, it is God who calls. And in the hustle and bustle of life, I have to kind of help this young boy to hear. And that was the kind of priest I'm talking about. I saw, being a Catholic, raised in a Catholic family, the Eucharist was source and summit. This expression came in Second Vatican Council. But implicitly, I believed that that is the center of my life. You know, there is an ancient saying in India, Indian wisdom, that everything that is given to you as a gift, if you don't use it, it can perish. Let us talk of gift as a mango. If somebody gave me a lovely mango, just ripe, ready to eat, with those beautiful colors, if I said to myself, I'll keep this for 2 days, or 5 days, or a week, you know what will happen. So is with life. Gift of life can get rotten. So you have to nurture it, you have to protect it, you have to make it grow. That is the analogy I would give you to describe my life. So I was kind of a seeker. I had come from Marathi medium school. I hardly could speak one even proper sentence in English. And so I requested if I could be allowed and given special coaching to learn and put a good foundation of English. What is seminary formation? It is human, intellectual, spiritual. There are different stages of formation. Like family is the first formator in a way. You know, then the parish, then the diocese, you know, then the seminary. The formator is seminarian himself. My first challenge is the superficial knowledge of our faith. I said to you, only three things matter, according to St. Paul: faith, hope, and love. Do I have faith? Pope Benedict opened my eyes when he articulated this. He said, are we becoming pragmatic atheists? I have faith, but I act as if I don't have faith. So formation for us bishops, for us priests, for us lay people, religious, formation is number one challenge for me. I constantly discover how much I need to not know by mind only, but to form myself. That faith should be part of every vein of my life. Pope Paul VI in 1975, Evangelii Nunciandi, wrote that evangelization is not like varnish that you put on wood to make it polished and look very beautiful. He says evangelization is penetration of faith. And Pope John Paul II said to Africans, faith that is not penetrated is not faith received. This is my concern. We believe that we have faith, but we have to constantly form ourselves in that faith, deep down. And faith must become my identity. Hope, similarly, formation of hope. What hope do we have? My hope is not that one day I will become Pope, or as a priest, one day I will become bishop and then archbishop and so on and so forth. That is not hope. Or my life will become better. From this poor parish I will be transferred to a rich parish. No, that is not hope. Hope is that what I believe put into practice. That is hope. And then love. Love. That little girl who became patron of the missions, Therese of Lisieux, you know what she said? Church is mother, church has heart, and church's heart is God's heart. And what is there in the heart? Love. I want to be that love. That is my mission. I want to be that love. And I think, this is what priesthood is all about. It's not a ladder to climb up, ladder of greatness and ladder of richness in the worldly sense of the word. We are called by God, who first of all is the simplest of the simple. We as priests are called to live simple life. Simplicity must be part of our identity. Pomp and glory will pass away. Sic transit gloria mundi. All my great, vestments of and all my pomp and my glory and my titles and, my books perhaps or my sermons, and all will pass away. Simple, become simple, number one. Number two, my identity should be humility. St. Paul's hymn to the Philippians, even though he was equal with God, did not claim that equality, but abased himself, became not just human being, but the least of human beings. And where did he die? Which nobody would want to die in those days, on the cross. And third is purity. Purity is not something like, no stains. Pope Francis tells us very well, go and get your hands dirty on the road, don't just sit in your presbyteries. Purity is in that. And here comes a Pope now. Pope to harp with loud voice and say, you guys, bishops and priests, get to the peripheries, dirty your hands. The church that is not dirty is not worth calling a church. I only wish and pray every day, God, give me vocations. God, you want vocations. You are calling. And let these young people hear. And let there be priests in the church, but not in quantity, in quality. One good priest, one Mother Teresa, we have seen changing the world. One St. John Marie Vianney. One priest could change the entire priesthood, as it were, Restore, which is motto of St. Pius X. Restore, that is restoration. One priest with right motivation, with right convictions, can change the world. And one Mother Teresa, oh, our dear mother, how she has changed even India. Every generation has lived the challenges that we are living. There are different types of challenges, to be sure, but no generation can claim my challenges were unique and nobody else. I will only distinguish the sufferings of Jesus. Perhaps nobody has gone through that suffering till today. How many times our Lord said, "Do not be afraid. Fear is useless." There is a famous mystic, Saint Juliana of Norwich, and her great sentence, "Do not be afraid. All will be well, and all shall be well. Do not be afraid." And I would say, I do my bit. I know I am here for a period of time. My time will come. I must pack and go. God will call me. And I don't think world will stop after me, much less my diocese will stop or, the church will stop. But I must fulfill my mission in this given time. And that also, thank God, Pope Francis has come to tell us everything joyfully. Whether it is, education, joyfully. Whether it is proclamation of the gospel, joyfully. That we should be joyful people. We suffer. Like St. Paul says, how many times he was beaten up, how many times he got lost, how many times he was insulted, how many times. He gives the whole account. But he says, never did I lose my joy. Because my joy does not come from worldly things. My joy comes from the Lord.